We ended up yesterday's video talking about putting a railing along here. And we're going to want to come along from this wall here, along here, behind this box, and if we're lucky we can make a slight turn to the left and come right up against this right-hand railing on the ladder. And for the other piece, we will go along here, out, and over, depending on how the sections of the railing work out. Now, if you'll remember, I think it was a couple of episodes ago, I accidentally broke one of these ladders loose. Just very gently adjusting my divider here. Okay, I think if we have the railing that long, and then maybe it can make a jog to the left. We'll see how it works out on the sections. Okay, clearly we're not going to have enough railing to make a jog, but the length is almost perfect. Now maybe we can lean it up against the back of that box. Or maybe not. Try it again. I'm going to have to get my angle different. Now when I put that box on there, I guess I wasn't thinking in terms of railing right behind it. Yeah. You know, that railing could almost make a little jog, a very tiny jog to the left. Like right here, this post could come this way just a little bit so it would line up with this. I'm going to see if I can't just very, very slightly bend it. I wonder if maybe Andy's photo edge bender would be good for this, or should I just use the pliers? Now remember, we want just the very slightest amount of bend here. This may turn out to be not a good idea, because there wasn't a whole lot to play with there. So I go almost up to that post. Okay, let's try it like that, clamp it down, and then get this underneath, bend it up. Okay, what do we got now? Okay, have we now shortened it too much? Get this in behind here. Oops. Very gently. I think that looks pretty realistic. Now I apologize for my lighting here. Okay, I do believe I got it. Okay, disaster here. I was repositioning my specialty tool, and somehow I managed to knock over this box. I guess it wasn't glued in very good to start with. You can see where the pegs on the bottom came out of the holes. So I'll see if I can't get this back in there without knocking the railing off, which miraculously stayed on. Mind you, I don't believe in miracles. Used to. Okay. So I glue that down there. I wonder if maybe I should straighten the railing and fasten it down on this end, because that's what I had planned on doing when I was repositioning everything. Now the railing is not leaning back this way as bad as it looks. The perspective is pretty off here. I just want to get this one post adhered, and we can straighten everything up after. Well, I know I got it on the side, but I want to get it on top of the rail. Oh, that's not good. Another globby mess that I gotta paint over. Okay, I do put 3 times as much on as I need. Now I don't know if it's too late or not, but I'm going to try one of Jim's Q-tips here and see if I can absorb some of that. There, that should paint over a lot better. Now I wonder if I should straighten this up now, or maybe wait until after I get the box in place. Okay, let's try and get that in place before the glue hardens. There we go. I felt it sort of get seated. That looks somewhat better. Maybe this post is a little bit too far in now. Okay, let's leave well enough alone, and let's see if I can make a little piece to go right here. Okay, I've cut a piece here, and this is the first time I'm actually trying to place it down and see if it'll fit. Okay, I think with just a tiny bit of tweaking here. Now, you see the post, not this post, but the one in the back. If I take those rails that don't have a post on the other end and cut them to about 2 millimeters long, and then bend them over to the left so that they go up against this wall, I think that'll look not too bad. Maybe 3 millimeters. Now, once again, I just sort of eyeballed it here, and it could be I'm going to have to trim those rails just a little bit. They might be just a little bit too long. Can I shove this over here? Oh, I made it worse. Maybe I'll get something a little different to poke with. Use this needle here. Oh! I should be editing all this foolishness out instead of leaving it in like I usually do. Let's try it again. You know what? If I could bring it towards us, just a quarter of a millimeter so that it was just a little bit more on the edge here, then those rails in the back would also be up against the ledge. You know what? I guessed pretty good. Okay, now I know the front here is not quite right, but this back post is. Now, did it get on the deck or is it only stuck on the post? I think I got it on the deck. I wonder if my mixture of CA glue is thickening up on me. Come in at more of an angle like this. Come on, get down on the deck. There we go. Okay, now we'll carefully take our pin off. And let's see if we can hook it in here. I know that I had said I was going to shut that clock off and I didn't, but I will. Very gently now. Don't want to push down too hard or I'll bend that rail. I just want to push everything down so that it's straight and it's touching the deck. And I do believe it is. That should do it. I'm thinking that my mixture of CA medium, where I took the thick and the thin and mixed them together to make my own custom, medium, I'm thinking that it is too thick. And I think I'm going to have to thin it out a bit here. Well, anyway, I can get rid of my special support here, my specialty tool. I'm guessing it was about 2 years ago now that I got this stuff from William Woodwright here in Canada. And I imagine this particular brand you can get probably all over the world for all I know. Anyway, what I did was I took an old bottle of, I think it was medium, and I added some thick to it, and then I added some thin to it, and I came up with what I felt was sort of a runny medium. But I'm thinking now maybe I should add just a little bit more thin. And you can see here it's still fairly runny. It's not like the thick. I don't know if you can see the thick. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to add a few more milliliters of thin to this and see if maybe it'll sort of wick its way better when I try to glue something up. I've done the railing on the starboard side now, and I had thought that it was going to be an exact mirror image to the port side, but if you notice, it's not. For instance, the space from this platform to this wall was a lot more. And when I eyeballed it, I made a bit of a mistake there. I was going to cut another piece. And then I thought, no, you see there's a little tiny platform right here? Well, this opening is so that our little sailor can jump from here onto here, without having to crawl over the rail. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, because this round platform here is identical to this one here that we just did, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do it, and we'll look at it afterwards. As you can see, we got it on. And I did it a little bit different to the way I did this one here. What I did was I rolled it to almost the exact size that you see it right now, and then I just more or less set it in place and held it down with my specialty tool in a couple of places, and then instead of using the CA glue, I used the Tamiya extra thin and allowed the extra thin to dissolve the paint. Now I know that extra thin will not stick to photo etch, but it does stick to paint if it dissolves it. So the paint in effect became the glue, and I haven't really tested it to see how strong it is. I imagine it could be broken off, so I will have to be careful. Well, as with all of this photo etch railing, a person has to be extremely careful. Now later on, when I go around with my dark gray, when I'm touching up, I'll have to, well, I won't be using this brush, I guess this one's too big. But anyway, I'm going to touch up the inside there. You can see where the plastic is showing. Guess I didn't do a very good job of painting that originally. In yesterday's comments, another viewer asked, and I've been asked this before, to the effect of, do you think you're going to have enough railing? Because they were reminding me that there's these large areas here that need railing. I'm guessing that this one section here, if you include both sides, is probably going to take 3 lengths of railing. Then we need probably, for this one, I think 1 length will do both sides, I hope. I said that I think I'm going to have just enough. And then we got, all along here. I mean, this is a pretty good size section here. Now, of course, we don't need any railing here, but there's a little bit out here that we need. Probably about 2-3 inches, I guess. However, if you remember about a year ago, Tony had sent us that model that he didn't want to build, and he thought I could use it as a mule, and there was railing in it. Now I have gone and wasted some of it when I was practicing spraying. I never thought that maybe I should have saved that. Now this, I thought it was 700 scale, but it turns out it's 350. In other words, it's twice as big as what I thought it was. And now I know it's like the Bismarck we're doing now is 200. This is, excuse me, 350. It's only about half as big as it's supposed to be, or a little better, I guess. And I'm thinking, in an emergency, maybe some of these shorter pieces here might look okay in a spot like that. I don't know. On the other hand, I do think I'm going to have enough if I don't waste any. I can't see Trumpeter making a kit that doesn't have enough railing, because they would undoubtedly have practiced, to make sure it was going to work. Anyway, just sort of thinking out loud here again. Now, as long as we're doing the aft section, which we're on right now, like we just did this, and we did this, and before we move down to this deck, we got to do this one right here. We need a piece that's going to go around here to the ladder, and then from the ladder around to the other side, the same place. That shouldn't take too much, depending on how, of course, where the posts come. It's quite easy to waste a couple of inches if the posts are in the wrong place. If you know what I mean. We are going to have to cut today's episode off. We have simply run out of time here in Winnipeg today. So all being well, we'll see you tomorrow with episode 371. Thanks for watching.